go back
issues
to
in
the
the
same
story.
society. You have myself, Jochik, Jasmine, and Jagad.
These are everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a movie review of Dune 2. Wow.
Lisan al Gaib.
I wasn't ready.
Oh,
I didn't know that we started.
it's okay.
Yeah, so like
Yeah.
there's issues in his story. There's clear
Yeah,
issues.
no, we're talking about Dune.
No, there's clear issues.
All right,
We
so
have Zack
Dune,
Snyder fan over here, by the
Dune
way.
2. Yeah, what'd you guys think of the film? Or you guys want to go this way, this way, this way, this way?
You go.
I can go first?
Yeah.
All right. That was pretty good.
I thought it was great.
Compared to the first one.
It was better than
It was
first,
it,
easily.
like what I had noticed, it was the story was told in the opposite way of the first one.
Okay.
Right? So in the first one, you have a sort of like the build up and then like the initial war, and then Paul escapes to the desert.
Okay.
In this one, Paul's in the desert, and then it ends with the war and then the lore. Do you know what I mean? Like if you're kind of like, do you know what I'm saying?
I thought the war happened all at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Of the second movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the lore, like he was in the desert. The lore drops kind of happen like within the movie.
Yeah, yeah. And
Like-
then there's also everything that happens after the war too.
There's
right?
not a lot. It's like 5 minutes.
There's
and
still
stuff.
like stuff, you know what I mean? So I felt like it was like the opposite of the first one. Whereas the first one, there's not a lot that happens before that war. Then the war happens, and it's mostly in the desert.
I was gonna say like I can understand the opposite thing, but it's like I just think it's us getting deeper into the story
Yeah, yeah.
because the other one like as much like we barely get to actually see what the sand culture is about in the first one, and it all
Mhm.
happens like relatively at the end.
It does.
When he has to run away, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, we start and we get like we're heavily invested in this
Mm-hmm.
religion and stuff that they kind of built up
Right.
in the sand people humans.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And then while we're getting that, we're also getting like progression of story with the Harkonnens, right?
Isn't it Harkonnen?
I don't know.
There's two different ways
I
to
don't
say
know.
it.
Whatever. The fat white people. I don't know.
Okay.
Like I don't know.
Harkonnen, bro.
Or
Harkonnen,
Harkonnen.
whatever
The
you want to say.
Harkonnens, yeah. And then we had like the big epic like war at the end. With,
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think the pacing was a lot better with this one though.
Yeah.
Personally, I give like a 9.7 walking out of that theater. That shit was crazy.
Wow.
It was
And like
crazy.
and the first
9.7.
I think I gave it like an 8. 8 like it was nice whatever, but like it wasn't like doing it for me. Like
Yeah,
I wasn't like oh yeah, like I can understand why people like this over Star Wars, you know?
This movie is in contention for the movie of the year already.
Yeah,
So
100%.
Not for me.
Yeah, which is what I'm surprised about. Like why didn't you like it so much?
It didn't feel like a like you guys give what 9.5.
Easy
I'm at like
9.5. Easy.
I'm at like a 9.5 or 9.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's like an 8.5.
What?
That's
How?
crazy,
Why?
right? Dude.
Because it didn't feel like a.
Austin Butler's kiss wasn't doing it for you?
No.
That's what he remembers.
No, like, I don't know. It's just I felt like the what's his name? His dad, the leader of the Harkonnens,
Okay.
the big fat dude.
Byron.
Yeah.
Right. So in the first movie, we see he has some sort of telekinetic powers. Correct?
No.
No.
Does he not?
He's using a machine thing to keep
To
him
fly?
Up, to fly. To keep him floating.
No, but how is he killing everyone? He was just like turning their heads. Like what the fuck was he doing?
They off screened it.
Right.
But
So
I thought he was like stabbing him or something.
no, he was like because their bodies were all on the ground. Right.
I thought he was doing some weird like ritualistic like shit.
I thought he was using telekinesis.
No, I didn't.
No,
So-
he definitely doesn't have any
Bless you.
telekinesis.
Thank you. So I thought he had some sort of powers, and then he just got like killed so quickly.
No.
Like it was so anticlimactic the way he died.
No.
You know, like he just walked in, stab, done.
There
And
were
I was like,
there were
alright,
moments
you know?
that I wish he had like kind of like relish in a little bit more.
Yeah.
But like that moment, like there was so much presence on like Paul and
Yeah.
the dude who's above him. I forgot his name. Like the older guy, like the all father type of. I don't know what his name is. The Empire, like the actual guy. who
Oh,
leads the
you're
Empire.
talking about
The Emperor.
The actual Emperor, yeah.
Yeah.
Like the actual like because like
Yeah.
our Conans are just
Yeah,
like one
yeah.
of the dudes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like the emphasis kind of like moved on
To
from
the
him.
Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From
Yeah,
there.
it did.
So that's why like I didn't care too much, and we'd already seen so much of like this dude in the first movie.
Yeah.
That,
But he was
like-
kind of built up as this dude, and then you're like,
But
okay, like,
also,
kill him properly.
The thing
I
is,
don't know.
with Austin Butler's character, seeing the way he was like, "Yo, I should kill you right now for like during the Coliseum thing.
Yeah,
When the guy is not drugged up and shit.
right.
He's like, I should fuck you up for that, basically.
Yeah.
So like, to me, it seemed like Austin Butler's character was gonna make a power play,
Yeah.
and that like because of, I guess like how like psychotic the dude is, he was gonna like take over. Right?
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't even care. Like by the time he was like ready to die, that was just kind of completing the like blood for blood thing with Paul.
Right.
Like you killed my dad, I'm killing you.
Yeah,
And, the other thing was like I found it kind of weird with like the baby, like his sister, the fetus thing.
Yeah.
That was like super weird to me.
It was kind of weird how
And,
it's just has cognitive abilities to just
Like so smart all of a
fucking-
sudden,
yeah.
and knows like, oh yeah, what's going on? Tell him not to do that.
yeah.
Like, bro, get out the womb.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
No,
doing?
I thought that was kind of
It
weird.
was so
too.
fucking weird.
But I was like, as like a Bene Gesserit and stuff, like you can kind of. I was like, this is a cool way to. It's a cool way to depict that. Like if she comes,
she's gonna be
if she
strong.
survives and comes out of the womb,
She's gonna be strong.
she's got to be fucking beast.
Right, but
you know,
like the brain development doesn't make sense.
yeah,
At all.
like that's like the sci-fi fantasy
yeah,
aspect
I don't know.
of it. Right?
And then the only other thing.
Right?
It's not really real world. We can't.
Yeah.
No,
we
no, I
can't
know.
constrict Dune to real world when it's
yeah.
just so out
Out
there.
there,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the other thing was like after this movie ended, I was kind of like, where the fuck's it going now? Like it felt like there was no like
So-
real
like they didn't need a third movie.
like this could be the it. Like that's it. This is it. Done. You know what I mean?
Before-
They technically
hold on,
could
hold on.
just end it here. I'm not
Right? So like
This is a spoiler.
for
Review.
books or just the movie.
Just for the, I mean, so
'Cause
that's
we're
what I'm
already
saying.
at
if you wanna talk about the books, I want
full spoiler review by the
let's
way.
try to lead like let us do the Dune 2 discussion of what we thought,
Yeah.
and then we'll come back to that and you tell us like the things that you know from the book.
Sure.
afterwards. Okay, so the one issue I had when I left the theater was the shields.
Yeah.
I don't like the way the shields work because it just
right.
seems
It doesn't make
convenient
sense.
to the plot.
It is. Yeah.
But you were telling me that like that helicopter that had the shield up was shooting, so then
Mhm.
I feel like I need another watch to make
So,
sure and look
like,
at it again.
Yeah.
Wait, what the?
So at the end when the worms are coming through,
Yeah.
there's helicopters shooting at the worms, right?
Yeah.
One of the helicopters, it didn't look like they were shooting, and they had the shield up, and they get shot,
Mhm.
and they get shot down. And I
Mhm.
was like, that, like what? Like again, you're watching in the theater, like maybe I just missed it, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And then there was only one moment in the actual movie, like where I was, like everything's perfection. Like you have the soundtrack, you have the fucking
Oh yeah.
the visual effects and everything, right? But when Austin Butler's in the Coliseum,
Mhm.
Yeah.
it just felt so jarring. Not that like it was like the cinematography was bad or anything, but like it kind of felt like he was placed in front of a green screen. Like when they're doing like a blurry background of the Coliseum behind him and it's a
Yeah.
close up, it's like his torso, upper half.
Yeah.
And he just pops out. Like it's just crazy the way it popped out that I was like, okay, no, like you can tell there's a green screen there.
I didn't
like,
notice that.
and
Yeah, I didn't notice
I
that
think
either.
I'm the only one that noticed it, but like it was just like when you have a movie that's like doing everything so well,
Mhm.
Just the
even like
one thing.
it's just like even like if like one thing wasn't like at that level, like it sticks out like
A lot,
thumb,
yeah.
like a sore thumb, right? That's why I was just like, like I do need to watch it again, and like that's why it's like a 9.7. Cause like
Yeah.
like
The-
those two things are like
The other thing that I wanted to mention was like, so in the first movie when Paul fights Jamis, the
Yeah.
black dude,
Yeah.
he sees the future, right? Like he sees the
Paul sees the
future.
future,
Yeah, and then he's able to fight Jamis because he saw the future and he knows what moves he's about to do.
Yeah.
Right? This is when he has less control of his powers
Yeah.
and just like random shit, right?
It's just a vision, like a random
Right.
vision at this point.
I
Like, it's not
guess.
even like
By
like,
the
yeah.
end of the movie, he seems fully realized.
Yeah,
The way he's
100%.
talking, the
He
way
does.
his eyes, everything, right?
Yeah.
So I
and the way he
expected
explains like the
everything.
like the different like,
exactly,
yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And the way I expected him to fight Paul Austin Butler's character
yeah.
was in that same fashion. But
Me
it
too.
didn't go that way. So it's like why in a life and death situation did he not do that? Whereas in that situation when he had no control, it happened. Right? Because that was also a life and death situation. So it's like why? And why wasn't it depicted that way?
Okay.
Like so for me, that was like I was like, okay, like that didn't sit right with me because I was like, it should have been shown.
I can
right?
understand it, but like because he had that explanation of he can see the paths, I felt like there was no longer a need to show what he sees anymore.
No, but then he shouldn't even got injured in that fight.
I think
Do you know what I mean? But
what if-
I
no,
think
no.
the injury was
No.
it's like one of those like
Like
this
you
is the
have
only
to, you
path.
have to
He
only
have
have
to
to like
actually-
yeah.
actually, yeah.
He had to
But
take
like
the
I would have
injury to
liked,
win.
I would have liked
Yeah.
if they showed us, like show us that. Don't just like now we're all making this assumption that that's what happened.
I would agree with you, but except because his powers are kind of like Doctor Strange or like whatever, where like
What do you mean?
like he can see like the different futures and shit,
The
and
different
he can kinda,
timelines?
he
Yeah.
can kind of like just tap into which one he
Yeah,
wants.
yeah. But so you can just
him showing those visions, like you know it's gonna occur the way Paul wants it to occur.
Yeah.
So it's no
You don't
longer-
really need
there's no
the-
need for it to
yeah,
happen
there's no
because
need.
before there were visions, and
Yeah.
in the first movie he touches the rock to like
yeah.
They're like
Just-
broken visions, right?
they're
It's
broken
not
visions.
constant.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
up to him to like do what he wants with
No,
that
but
knowledge.
like I would
still.
have liked to see how he perceives things. Like show us.
Yeah, that's fair.
Do you know what I mean? So then even if it's not shown then, show us at some point in the movie
Yeah.
that this is how he views things, and you're like, okay, that's pretty cool.
I think that'd make a good point for the third movie though, is that like, because he just like as soon as he kind of like tapped into his powers, he's like right in the like kind of in the war.
No.
He doesn't get too much time.
He
like,
has-
He does. There's like a
how
time
many
skip.
days?
I don't know what's a time
How
skip.
many days? Like,
Time skip, bro.
But it's like, it's pretty quick because like by the time he like
Because the movie
once
progression is pretty fast.
Yeah, it
once
is
he
pretty
gathers
fast.
everyone together and he goes in the middle of the stage and he's like, no, like I know like everything about you and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
From there, like
That scene went hard,
that,
by the
like,
way.
That did go hard.
they start amassing like all the like everyone to go fight now.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they finish that, where they're like, he's like, I bet
But there's
now let's do
it's
the
a
holy
good
war.
no, but like from him drinking the blue water
Yeah.
and moving forward, it's from that point forward that you see it's a big progression of time. Because that's when he's like fully realized. And then it's from that moment, because that's when you start seeing the drift between his character and Zendaya's character.
Yeah.
Whereas like she wanted to stand beside him,
Yeah.
but he ended up
Like being above.
being above, and you sort of see that drift and that like disparity between both of them.
Yeah.
Right? And like the movie poses an interesting question.
Mhm.
Like he chose the path that would keep her alive,
Yeah.
right? Like that's such a hard decision to make. Like he had to give up the essentially love of his life,
Yeah.
right? And he chose not to be with her so that she would be alive,
Yeah.
right? So like, would you guys do that?
That's crazy.
That's why. That's crazy. Not about to answer this.
All right. Anyways,
I think-
I gotta sit on that. That's a loaded question.
yeah.
I think
You're
it's
telling
cool.
me if I can see the future,
yeah.
would I choose that?
It's and and like the only future in which their whatever person survives is where you're not with them.
I think it's pretty cool though that like, she's used like very well as like kind of like the moral
Moral
compass
compass.
of
yeah,
the movie.
Yeah, she is. She is.
Because before Paul takes the water of life,
Mm-hmm.
he's Paul. Like
Yeah.
after he takes it, like you see the character change completely. Like
yeah,
it
yeah.
tells you immediately right when he took it that like
Yeah.
there's no going back. He's changed as a character.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
Like he's not the same Paul that we knew.
Yeah.
And like
Mawadib.
yeah, and like the whole thing about like this Messiah,
Yeah.
the movie and like the books as well, they pose the question like, is it actually a safe thing to follow a Messiah? Like
Right.
Yeah.
like blindly follow a Messiah? Like are
Yeah.
they actually real? Like what?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what's?
Like they're still people.
Yeah. And like you
That's-
see
yeah,
it throughout
yeah.
this whole movie, and Shani's kind of like
Yeah.
the whole time
And
like
then-
talking about it, like it's just like they're just prophecies or like they're
Made
Yeah.
up. to
made
control the
up like
people.
control the
Yeah,
people, and
yeah,
like that's
yeah.
like the whole thing, right?
Right.
And that's like, that's kind of where like I'm leaning towards as a viewer is everyone seems like Paul's on the right side of history right now
Yeah.
because of like what the Harkonnens are doing and shit.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it's like we don't know like the end plan of what the Bene Gesserit are trying to do and how Paul's fitting into that plan.
I think
whether Paul's gonna be above what they're planning or whether he's still
a part
controlled
of
by
their
them.
yeah.
So then like regardless of where it's like headed versus one or the other, it to me it seems like having a Messiah is not like that's not the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like I feel like the movie answers the question that like initially I feel like even in Dune Part 1 it's more like Paul is like a hero to be.
Yeah.
And then at the end of this movie I feel like it very much just tells you that he isn't a hero.
No.
Like
yeah.
he's you could say a fallen hero. Like he goes a complete different path and like being a hero, like
Mhm.
becoming
Like
the
being a real
Messiah.
hero.
Becoming the Messiah doesn't make him the hero. It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like the actions that he would take, and like
Yeah.
he let fear and revenge really dictate
What he
he was going
that's
to
true.
do.
Yeah.
That's true.
Like for example, like if we were to talk
like
about like
killing
what
the Harkonnens is like purely out of revenge.
out of revenge, like using the Fremen in the beginning was out of
Yeah.
just revenge. He wanted to use them.
Yeah.
And like the movie tells you that, like, if he was a true messiah, like, no, you like using the atom bomb or whatever, like that those are the things that like he wouldn't do. If he was a
That's
true
true.
messiah and like he wasn't scared, like he wouldn't have gone and taken the water of life.
I think like having him see the future is kind of what like prevents him from actually being a hero.
Yeah.
Because like now he's using the future to do what he wants to do.
Yeah.
Whereas being like a hero in like its true sense, he doesn't like, he just has faith and
But
hope,
the thing
and
is,
he's kind of just doing what's right.
Well,
And,
he's
and,
but he's
and
choosing
from doing like repeated actions of doing what's right, it's leading to like a better like universe, I guess, right?
But he could still be a hero. Like
He could,
No.
he's
but it's
choosing.
like,
No. What I mean, like, why the reason why I'm saying that, like, is hypothetically, right? Like he can see the future, so he's choosing the future in which the most people live.
But the
Yeah,
future,
maybe,
the future
maybe,
that he
maybe.
picked, the future that he picked, that the movie literally tells us, is that one where he kills billions of people.
that's also true.
Oh, where like a bunch of people are like starving and shit.
Yeah,
Because he's been seeing that.
yeah.
But like that's on one planet.
That's the one that he. No, it doesn't state that it's just on one planet. Like it's just Arrakis.
I mean,
these,
that's just
Yeah.
the vision that.
it's just
But
the
like
vision.
I'm saying, like, what if it's for the overall like greater good of the universe, out of like trillions, gajillions of people, it's this like necessary sacrifice
don't-
that
yeah.
he saw.
But
you
yeah,
know
but
what I mean?
we don't know, right?
No, I know, but
But,
the
the
fact
future-
that we don't know that
but,
doesn't mean that you can't just
no,
write
no,
off that he's not a
yeah.
hero.
No,
Yeah.
no. But the movie tells us literally that you can say that he's not a hero because Chani is our moral compass.
Yeah. that's
Yeah,
true.
And
Okay,
he
that's true.
and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
tells
Okay,
us that
that's
the
true.
visions, if
That's
I go
true.
down this
Yeah.
path, I kill billions of people.
Yeah.
And just out of a moral compass, that's not
No,
the
no,
right
that's
thing
Because
to
like,
do.
because
That's
even
true,
even
that's
if he
true.
can see visions and stuff, like
Yeah.
she was still with him
Yeah,
during those visions.
yeah.
It wasn't until after the water of life, and it was like the actual decisions he was making that was going beyond what the Freeman should care about.
Yeah.
Because like at the like she was part of that final war, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the reason she dipped after the final war is because now he's taking the war off planet to
Yeah.
like the whole. Now it's a holy war.
Yeah.
Which has nothing to do with the Freeman. The Freeman got
Like it's
their
a
planet
crusade.
back.
They
you
got-
mean.
they
It's a
got their
crusade.
paradise
It's a
or
crusade
whatever.
at this point.
But
Right?
he's using them to like go further and extend them like past
Yeah.
what they know.
So
They've never been off planet.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, now you're gonna think these guys are
that's
ready
true.
for like galactic warfare? Like
they're
no.
not. The thing is, like, at the end of the movie, right? The last scene is like with Johnny.
Yeah.
And she's like calling a worm.
Yeah.
Right. So why do you think she's calling that worm? And like, what do you think is gonna happen? If you know, don't answer. But like,
Okay.
yeah.
You know what's happening?
Well, I mean, I don't know in details. Like,
Yeah.
I know kind of strings of like what kind of happened.
Okay, so I think she was like, it was kind of like a fuck you moment. Like she was like, yo, like fuck you, I don't need you to protect me, sort of thing. And she's like, I'm gonna do this shit on my own, right? So whereas I could see this play out is she goes and she becomes an opposing force to Paul's
I can see that.
character,
I can see
which
Mhm.
would be great.
I can
see
I'd
that.
love to see that. Or she was like, yo, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like as in, like, take
I
me,
can,
great
I,
worm.
I can understand
know?
like her just like she never believed in him, like in a messiah, not anything, anyways.
Yeah.
So I can see her kind of like like her goal is met. Like she wanted to free the sand, like the Freeman and stuff.
Yeah.
She achieved that.
Mhm.
Now they can just enjoy their life on.
Yeah,
their
and she
planet
doesn't really need to
and
go.
do their thing. She doesn't
yeah.
need to go off planet. Like that's just being greedy.
But the thing is, like, the prophecy was weird. Like the way the prophecy was playing out, right? Like, desert spring will bring him back to life, and Johnny's name means desert spring, and she brings him back to life.
yeah,
Like it's kind of crazy how that played out. Like I know it was kind of forced on her by the mom, right? But
which
even,
I didn't like that.
But like, could
But
it
that's
have
part
been?
of it.
But could it have been any character?
No, I think it was his connection to Jonas or
But
Jonas, whatever. name is,
Whatever,
Jonas.
right? But the thing is, the fact that she's the desert spring, like, what are the odds that he
Oh,
has
yeah.
a connection with her, and a desert spring is what brings him back to life,
Oh,
right? Like
yeah.
that's very like
coincidental.
yeah, very coincidental, or like
But
very
it
like
but,
Messiah-esque, you know?
Yeah, but also because his visions were showing her to begin with,
They were.
their connection was
They were.
already kind of like predetermined in that way.
But
'Cause
see,
So
that's
like,
part
why?
of his
but like, why-
part of
why?
his curiosity to her
But why was he seeing
was
her?
from the visions.
But why was he seeing her?
Because again, like that. Those
What if it
steps
was the
were
Bene Gesserits that controlled everything to create this prophecy, to create
Yeah,
But
this
they've been trying
future?
to get rid of him.
the Bene Gesserits.
Yeah, they've been saying like abomination, like a male, like
Yeah.
they've been only doing
Yeah, yeah.
females. So like that doesn't make sense.
But not really, because they were trying to create what Paul is.
Yeah.
They've been trying to. I forgot what they're called, quadrahedrics or something. I don't know if I can.
They so like
The Kesawasas.
Whatever they're trying to create. They're
The
trying to create this on like whatever the Mahdi. Like, they're just trying to create this dude on like several planets.
Right,
so
and like what's Austin Butler's character was one of them too. No.
They like
like
they're
gonna use
potential. He's potential.
Yeah, he's potential.
Yeah.
The other thing that I thought was really cool though was the reveal of that they're actually related.
The cousins, yeah.
I feel like it wasn't needed.
No, but I thought it was so cool. I was like, damn.
It's a great way to like interconnect it, but it was just like.
But I mean, like, I was like, now. But then I was like, now he can just like take over the Harkonnen Empire without beef.
So that's what I was thinking was like, if he like that would have only really mattered.
Yeah.
If he wasn't gonna just kill them just to kill them.
Yeah.
If he was actually gonna take over and be like, yo, I am actually technically next in lineage.
Yeah.
Then that makes sense because he was gonna use that information for like, his own purpose.
But he could use that in like the Holy War to like leverage them to like.
Which he better because otherwise, like, what was the purpose of saying, "Hey, cousin"?
Yeah.
The other thing, like, just a flex, but also, Batista's death, very anticlimactic.
Yeah, I didn't
one
like that.
stab to the neck.
I didn't like that at all. Batista though, as an actor, killed.
Great, yeah.
Like his frustration and everything, like when he like slams the desk thing because they're kind of like, yo, you keep fucking up.
Yeah.
That shit was great. I really like.
I feel like he was barely in the movie. Like he didn't stand out to me at all.
I feel like for the screen time that he had, he stood out.
Yeah. Because he like when he was on screen, like I knew he was on screen, but like because he played such an important role in the first movie, I was okay with his character kind of getting sidelined here. But again, like you said, like when Josh Brolin's character kills him, I'm like, bro, what the hell? Like this he's not bad at fighting like that. He pulls out his whips and just instantly gets cut up and dies. Like, have at least give us like a decent fight.
Yeah. Austin Butler though,
he killed it,
bro.
Killed it.
My favorite part of this movie.
Range.
Easy.
Dude, I thought I first the scene where he was introduced because I didn't know he was in the movie.
What?
Well, like how I didn't watch any of the
trailer?
trailers.
Movie.
Oh.
When
I didn't watch any of the trailers. I didn't watch any of the trailers.
I was like, fucking
so
guy.
I had no idea he was in the movie, and I see him and I'm like, is that Jared Leto?
Which I can understand that, but Jared Leto's face is skinnier.
And then I was like, wait, that's Austin Butler. I was like, bro, what? And then I had no idea that Florence Pugh was in the movie. Pugh.
Yeah, I didn't know she was in the movie.
Yeah.
Pugh.
Pew. No, Austin Butler though. Yo, everyone that's been coming at him for that Elvis shit needs to shut the fuck up now. Cause like, dude, this guy's just got it like that.
He's an actor.
Like, dude, his voice control, insane, dude. And it's not like
he was mimicking the
Skarsgård.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And no, at one point I thought it was Skarsgård too.
Yeah, but
like it was one of the Skarsgård brothers.
And,
I was like, yo, because this guy, because they look similar.
It adds to like that feeling of family.
It's the
because
stare,
they have
right?
that little bit of like raspiness to it.
Yeah,
and he literally studied him with a voice coach. They studied the way he talks from the first movie, I think. Yeah, and then they were just like, okay, like I'm trying to like he's trying to.
It's that stare, right? The stare that he was doing, like when you stare. No, but the way what made him look psychotic though.
Oh yeah,
was the stare where you stare through your eyebrows.
Yeah,
and he had the spit dripping from his lip.
Yeah. So I don't know what the stare is called, but there's a term for it. I can't remember. No. Anyone who has a phone can search it up.
I don't have a phone. I'm broke.
Yeah, I do that.
Sick.
Another actor, Timothée Chalamet.
He did his performance.
To think that Willy Wonka came out, and then Dune 2.
Yeah,
like totally to think about, dude, because like, he goes from being Paul to like the Messiah.
Yeah,
and like you see that transition and like how commanding like his performance is as a Messiah.
Yeah,
it's fucking sick. The fucking scene where he walks into that chamber, stands on that stage, and tells them, "You will fucking follow me."
Yeah,
that shit went hard.
That did, especially when he's like going off, and that's when you know he has full control of his powers.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why I was kind of even more out like, yo, show me more of your power.
But that's kind of why that's why I was okay with him not showing it because he already flexed it.
Yeah.
To a high enough degree that like.
I want to see it in the fight. You know what I mean? Like
I get that. But that's like fan service. I guess.
I guess
that's like a nice to have thing. The story didn't need, and with with the runtime that it's already at, I can understand him.
It was what 3 hours?
250.
Yeah, like just under 3
But the thing is, the pacing was done so well that it didn't feel long
like
at all. Yeah.
Well, for sure.
Yeah.
Shot so fucking well.
Timothée Chalamet, like in the first movie, I wasn't really meshing with like his acting and his character and stuff. Second movie, I feel like he did such a better job, like just portraying Paul.
I wanted to see more of the voice though in the second movie.
Me too. That's literally like one of the first things I said. I was like, bro, he never uses the voice until like the end.
Yeah.
Like, I understand that he was like bringing up like Messiah shit.
Yeah.
When he like pulled up and he started like beating his like shit and like
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
But I was like, it would have been great had he like used the voice then to like tell people like, yo, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
And that would have been awesome too. And then he could have continued and like really shown his power.
Like he just used
over
it
top
at
of
the
it.
end against that one Bene Gesserit girl.
And which is like a
Reverend
good, which is like
Mother.
a,
Mother,
yeah, which is
yeah.
like a good fuck you from like the first movie.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
She said it to him and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But like use it more often.
Yo, but his mother's progression of craziness,
Wild.
wild.
Lady
It was
Jessica?
so
Lady
fast
Jessica?
though.
Well,
Like,
she-
why
as
the
soon
fuck
as-
she
as
gets so
soon as she got-
crazy?
As soon as she got
The water.
But why?
I think it was because she was pregnant.
Yeah.
That plus the water just made it crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
How?
And because now she has her daughter fucking talking shit to her.
The
About
The daughter gets
been
but the daughter got affected by the water. She
the
went from-
the daughter
Yeah.
doesn't start speaking until after the water.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But still.
But that's
like,
what's been. It's like that's obviously like swaying her and fucking with it, and then you hear one of the people talking to Paul like, "Yo, don't listen to the voices that you hear." I forgot who was saying it.
He says it in the desert, bro. He's when Paul is supposed to go out on the desert by himself.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
but he's like messing with him. It's the leader. What's his name?
Stilgar.
Stilgar. It was him.
The biggest hype man in the world.
Yo,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, yo. If Stilgar wasn't in the movie, my appreciation for the movie would go like down.
Down, bro.
Just 'cause-
Every single time.
Just because like it was
What did they say?
Lisan al Gaib.
Listen, oh my god! Every time he did anything, bro.
Like, yeah, that's what kept your attention though, because like it was getting like very dry at a point. Because like in
Yeah.
terms of action, we had Austin Butler in the Coliseum, and then that's about it.
No, we had in the beginning of
There's
the
so
movie
much.
when they have their little
Oh,
spice
yeah,
miner,
You had them,
Yeah.
and that scene
But, like-
where they're like shooting down the hornets or whatever
and
they're
getting
called,
sniped.
Yeah.
and the
That's-
leg
yeah.
is moving. That was
Mhm.
clean. I was
Okay,
like, that's done so well.
They started the movie with action.
Yeah,
But then they didn't have it until the Coliseum thing,
essentially.
and then they didn't have it until like the war.
The end, yeah.
And like, you can count like his like worm training and stuff as like action moments.
Yeah,
And stuff,
yeah.
Which is fine, but like it just felt like in terms of like all the slow progression, kind of like that we were getting with the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like such a long time before like the next action thing.
Yeah,
And now that you bring up like the beginning though,
yeah.
when they kind of go up on the rocks and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
these guys are getting sniped at. Why didn't they use their shields?
Yeah.
And then like I understand like the argument that the shields attract the worms,
Mhm.
but the worms don't hit the rocks. They avoid the rocks.
Yeah.
Because like once in the first movie when Paul barely makes it onto a rock,
It
off
stops.
the sand,
It stops.
it doesn't even go after him.
Yeah, it stops.
Even though like odds are likely it could have just rammed straight in and actually like.
I
fucked
wonder
up Paul.
why.
It just completely stops. 'Cause
Yeah, why?
I think it's because it stopped like sensing him. Right?
Yeah.
Oh, the vibrations and shit.
Mhm.
But like if you're getting sniped out
Mhm.
and your odds are to like either you snipe you die,
Yeah.
maybe try the shield and then
Mhm.
deactivate it whenever you can.
Yeah. No,
Because
that
you
makes
had the
sense.
one dude jump off and then like Paul has his fight with him.
Yeah.
But like I swear we saw like 5-6 people get sniped without doing
So
anything.
that's facts. That's
Right?
facts. They got sniped in and
Mhm.
shit.
Yeah.
And they were on the rock.
Yeah.
So then they could have activated their shields.
yeah,
Mhm.
'Cause it's not sensi
it
shit.
just it doesn't make,
That's facts.
At least even
That's
if
facts.
like the worm was already headed their way, even if one of them activates it and then the worm kills him, like be like, okay, that's why you don't activate it. Like
Yeah.
show that.
Yeah.
But like yeah, it's just like okay, like they
The-
didn't do anything.
The thing is that that float, like that tech, right? It just makes you descend slowly. Like you can't fly upwards.
I kind of didn't understand the way it was working.
That's what I mean. I didn't understand
Because
it.
they were like kind of like slowly floating, but then they're going up, like kind of like the gravitational pull of like the rock or something. Like they're using
Yeah,
that
yeah,
to, like,
to like go up.
to go up. Because
Like it wasn't flying. It was it was
Yeah.
like they had to be close to it to go up,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
when they're coming down. So it didn't. They
It
didn't
was weird.
explain that at all.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Even like from like the first movie, like when
Yeah.
they're coming down from the ships,
Yeah.
they're kind of just like gravitating down.
Down. Yeah. It
Mhm.
seems like it's floating tech, but
Yeah.
like not flying tech.
Yeah.
You know. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
And they had their little like Spartan lasers, no sentinel beams
Yeah, those are D's.
that they're using to like. I see. That's what I want. I wanted more of the tech being shown. They
Yeah.
don't show the tech enough.
Yeah.
Right, like
I
they're
think-
showing so much hand-to-hand combat, but it's in it like
In
it's
the
like
desert, it makes sense.
but it's like a futuristic thing.
Yeah.
Like show us some tech,
That
you know,
was
show
good.
us some spice tech.
When you know when
Some
the
ice
mi-
spice.
you know when the
Oh.
miners come
Yeah,
and
Start shaking your shit.
yeah,
you know,
Start shaking.
you know when the miners come and
Yeah.
they're like hiding underneath the sand
Yeah.
and then they come and like run up on
yeah,
them.
yeah.
There's that scene where like they have like a metal door come from the sides
Oh, that was sick.
and just slams into the wheel and like explodes.
It was magnetic mine.
Where did that come from?
What do you
Is
mean?
that in the first movie? Like
No,
I've never
no.
seen like.
See, that's tech. That's tech.
Yeah.
So it's like, why didn't they have more tech
Why
that
did they,
incorporated
like,
spice
they
or
have all
anything?
this tech,
Like they
but
have
they
this tech.
don't
Like
have
they're like if you're asking where it actually came from, it was like under the sand.
No,
And then
I
okay.
mean like where did they get the tech?
No,
like,
exactly. So
yeah.
that's what I mean. Like they didn't explore the tech as much as
Yeah.
I'd hoped they would.
yeah, same.
And like now, if they're leaving planet, we're not even gonna get that at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't
So-
think tech was ever their focus for the thing.
Like
though.
there's no
But that was
AIs,
like the
right?
issue I had with the shields though. Is like
There's no AIs.
There's no artificial intelligence,
yeah,
no robots in Dune.
I guess yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Fair assumption.
No, it's
Haven't seen
like-
anything.
No, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
There isn't.
But like,
Yeah.
there's also like where are all the fucking mosquitoes and shit that they're using to assassinate people before in the first
Oh
movie?
yeah, in the first movie.
Because they throw that at Jason Momoa's character at one point.
Yeah, and he tries to like stop it, and it's like
Well,
piercing
he does
his
stop
yeah.
it. He does stop it.
But it's
yeah.
like piercing his shit, and he's
Yeah,
having a hard
yeah.
time.
Like they don't even
Word, they don't use any of that
at all.
either.
Yeah,
That's
it's just-
true. Yeah, 8.5 is right.
No, no. No, I would say like regardless of those
Yeah.
things, dude, the pure enjoyability, like 9.5, like I
Dude,
just
it's
fucking
shot
loved it.
so beautifully. The
so-
soundtrack is fantastic. The
I
acting was
think, yo,
wonderful. It's like
The way Hans Zimmer did his music with this, like I think
know
you,
it's
I
Hans
think
Zimmer.
you were saying
I mean,
you were saying like you didn't really like it.
no,
I thought it meshed so
I didn't
well
say
with
I
the
didn't say
scene.
that I didn't like it. I said it didn't stand out to me
Okay, no.
as much as more other Hans Zimmer tracks do.
I think like he
Because
did a great job
I'm
of, like,
fucking I love Hans Zimmer, bro. But it was just like the and I was like,
no,
I
that's
get
not the
you,
whole
bro.
thing.
I get you, bro.
Like,
Like
no,
that's all it was.
I think
every single time.
I think his soundtrack choices were like perfect with the atmosphere for.
Oh,
every
for
scene.
sure.
Like, I don't know if there's like any other movie where like it just fits so well. Maybe like Interstellar or something. But like,
Pirates of the Caribbean.
oh yeah, Hans Zimmer on that.
Are you even a true Hans Zimmer fan?
Yeah.
You didn't know
Maybe
that?
Not enough.
Wow.
I'd have to go through, but I don't think I'm a Pirates of the Caribbean fan to like remember how the soundtrack was for each scene.
No, you just gotta be a Hans Zimmer fan to know that the soundtrack slaps.
Okay, the soundtrack is slap. I'm wondering if it fits the atmosphere of
does.
each scene.
Yeah,
you know, 'cause
bro.
that's a whole different thing, right?
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's not
That-
Hans
that
Zimmer.
was
I know
Ludwig.
that's. I know.
It's Ludwig.
Oh, were we just specifically to
talking
Hans
about
Zimmer?
Hans
Oh no, we
Oh.
can just talk about scene. No,
I
no, we
was
can
talking
talk
I
about-
thought we were
was
talking
talking
about
no,
just
no,
like overall.
No, overall, no. Like Ludwig is sick.
Okay, yeah, no,
Ludwig's
I- I-
insane.
I was
even
talking
with
about Hans Zimmer,
even with
personally.
Black Panther 2, like
Yeah.
the not that
Hans
great of a
Zimmer was on
movie.
that shit too, huh?
What?
Hans,
No,
or for
bro.
Wait, what did you say? Black Panther? Oh,
Yeah.
no. Sorry, Kung Fu Panda. I was thinking Kung Fu Panda 4, bro. I'm losing it. I'm losing it.
Even Black Panther 2 with Ludwig, the soundtrack goes crazy.
How did he hear
I heard, no, I was thinking like like Kung Fu Panda 4.
But
Like,
how did you hear it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Continue.
That's it. I'm done.
Uh,
Like, what else is for me to say?
Tenet.
Yeah.
Even though people hated how loud it was, I enjoyed it.
I
Man
think
of
for
Steel.
now it'd be a 9.
Man of Steel.
Hmm.
Yeah, but like
Flight. That's the.
no,
soundtrack.
I mean Man of Steel was great, but like
Hans Zimmer.
there's I know, but I'm saying like the scenes.
Yeah.
Like
And the soundtracks.
when you're comparing like the soundtrack to like the scenes, not every scene was like a
Wow,
like
that's
a hit.
crazy.
That's crazy.
It wasn't though.
Which should tell me? Tell me
I don't
which
know.
scene
I don't
and which
think- I don't
soundtrack
think
specifically, bro.
No, just I'm just saying like
How
so-
dare
like, they were
you.
just it just felt like
Yeah, but if it was a Zack Snyder film, no, just kidding.
it is a Zack Snyder. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? It is a Zack Snyder film, and I'm still having this opinion. Like what the fuck?
It's only 'cause if Zack Snyder made the soundtrack, it'd be a different story
yeah,
though.
it'd be a different
You're
story.
hilarious. It's his movie, bro.
But the soundtrack is.
That all encompasses what his movie's
But
about.
the soundtrack was made
It's not
from
even,
someone
bro.
else.
It's not even his movie, bro. Was that the director's cut?
You're whack. Madison didn't even need a director's cut. You're toxic.
Anyway. Okay, wait. So your rating was what?
9.5. Like after I reeled off like the high from it.
Okay, yours is 9.5.
Yeah, 9.5.
Yeah.
I'm sticking at 8.5.
I think like
I want to watch it one more time.
I think yeah. I think
Me
if I-
too. I want to watch it one more time as well.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie though. I was thinking about it all weekend after I watched it. I was like,
For sure.
I
You
want to
guys
go
wanna go
back and
tomorrow?
watch it again. So like, it's kind of like it's kind of like the.
Want to go right now?
Yeah, let's
It
go
was
right
like
now.
it was like when we left the theater from Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, fucking amazing. I need to go back. Like,
Yeah.
it had me on like that same level of
Mhm.
like hype.
Hi.
But I was just like, okay, I need to actually like, cause also like the issue, cause I didn't have any issues with Oppenheimer. But, like, I need
Yeah.
to see like the issues again that I
Yeah.
had seen,
Yeah.
and I also hadn't seen like the first Dune in like a long time.
Right.
So I watched that like on Sunday after I watched the movie,
Yeah.
just to see like the continuity stuff.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
yeah.
I think so. I think this director has stated that he only wants to do 3 Dune films.
Dennis
Oh.
Villeneuve. He killed this shit.
Well,
man.
fucking killed it, dude. Great director.
Dude.
So
Because
yeah,
he's
if you want to talk about the future of Dune, because that was the other thing. Like,
Well,
I
I
thought
mean,
the
yeah,
movie
that's
could have ended.
that's where
there.
like I'm
Yeah.
like
so spoilers.
Yeah, so like that's where kind of like we had conversations like I don't really know how he's supposed to adapt the books to an extent where the story is told and it's satisfying.
Okay.
For one, like kind of what follows like Paul starting like the Holy Wars, he becomes the emperor, and like the whole thing of like him killing billions of people, he kills like I don't know, like fucking so many like billions upon billions upon billions of people,
just mass genocide.
Yeah, no, and they were like he states that he sterilizes many planets.
Oh,
so like they're like
crazy.
Dying out.
He's going crazy, right? As an emperor. There's obviously like there's
Aaron Yeager. I told you, right?
Aaron
Yeager.
But like the person that ends up doing the Aaron Yeager kind of thing is Paul's kid.
Okay.
So like Paul, I'm just gonna blast past what kind of goes on. There's people that are kind of going up against Paul. Paul kind of lets it play out. Chani dies giving birth to Paul's kids, twins, and Paul basically.
They fucked in the movie.
So
she's pregnant from that.
I don't know if it was from then. That's where like I'm not sure about how the movie's gonna play out with it.
Decision,
it should be from then. Though,
it should, because if anything after that is like it's like what the fuck.
Yeah, because she already like decided to dip and everything.
No, he already decided to like give up her for this future.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense unless what?
Like unless it would happen now. Like in the movie.
Exactly. Unless at this point was when.
Because that's why he wants her to survive. Is so that her kids can live on.
Yeah. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense, and then the rating goes down.
Yeah. So, Paul basically uses like before this happens. I think Paul uses like some crazy like nuclear missile.
Yeah.
Which like nobody wanted him to use, and like he's like basically lost in him
in the sauce,
like the water of life and everything that kind of went. He's completely lost. Like it's not Paul anymore.
Yeah.
But then Chani dies giving birth to his twins, and he like basically just walks into the desert of Arrakis and disappears and dies.
Oh.
Do they explain?
Paul's kid takes over after some time.
Wait, is this still book 2?
No, it's like book 3 or 4.
Okay, so because we finished book 1 in the movies right now.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that movie 3 is gonna be all of book 2, or do you think it's gonna be book 2 and 3 together?
The thing is, like, I don't know, like how satisfying is it that Paul just walks into a desert and dies?
Not at all.
But I mean, like, because if he only signed on for 3 movies,
but it's like it would be satisfying if like it was like he did it because of Johnny's death.
But
and then it's like he's like I can't live without her, and I did all this because of her, so that the weight of his decisions.
But then like also But then like also knowing like the fact of like the whole what happens kind of after the Paul kind of like would leave you unsatisfied. So like Paul's kid essentially at some point takes over, and he like becomes a worm.
Okay.
Becomes a worm.
He becomes a worm, takes this...
He's the embodiment of, like, would you still love me if I was a worm?
Yeah, no, literally. But he does fall in love with someone.
And Paul's like, nah, I'm gonna kill myself.
So he becomes, like, a worm, some, like, worm god type shit. And he basically creates, like, this human... I don't know if he creates, but, like, he modifies, like, a gene where this person becomes invisible from the Bene Gesserit, so that he can essentially create, like, this new future of humans that are...
Because he's a worm, he can do this?
Yeah, he creates like a new future where like people are invisible from the Bene Gesserit through this one person.
So are worms good or bad? Because like even the water of life that they extract from the worms, how is it like twisting them to be like this?
It's probably like I don't know.
Like
it's chemicals in there. Like they're probably good. They're like probably some divine being.
Yeah, they are.
They're probably like divine beings.
They're in no way a divine being.
They talk about like that one like grandfather worm and like those baby worms that they're trapping and shit.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
so it's like they're like divine. That's what I mean, because he becomes some like sort of god, like a demigod type of thing. And he rules for like thousands of years. By the way, Paul's kid, to the point where like
thousands of years.
Yeah, to the point where like humanity is and humanity is ready for him to like die, where like he resurrects. So even before that, Duncan Idaho had been resurrected a few times, but Paul's kid resurrects Duncan Idaho again. This whole new humanity, the Jason Momoa's character, they create a resistance against Paul's kid. Paul's kid is like the reason that like when he dies, everything goes back to like normal. So like kind of resetting everything that like his dad did, and like creating a new future where like Bene Gesserits can't really like fuck around, and like whatever damage that happened to Arrakis goes back to normal. So like all the worms are back, the spice is back, etc., etc.
Right.
And like that seems like a satisfying kind of end to me, at least, if like they were to do it. But seeing only 3 movies.
Okay.
But that only takes place after book 4. So then there's book 5 where there's like sex beings that are taking control of people and some weird shit going on. I ain't even gonna talk about that. But like that's, again, I don't know how this is all gonna be. Sex beings.
Oh, I heard
so you know how there's
beings.
Bene Gesserits that like control people through like just like the voice and like manipulating futures.
Yeah.
These people control people by having sex.
Oh, that's crazy.
So on top of that, from what I was reading, past book 3, I think a lot of it is just exposition after exposition. So it becomes an issue of how are you supposed to just adapt exposition after exposition after exposition.
Well,
do you know how you do that?
Okay, but with exposition, you can, because it's translated into movie.
Yeah.
You can now show it instead of having to explain it.
No.
But then that means somebody has to like storyboard all of that.
Somebody has to like actually have like a dialogue. Somebody has to take that creative liberty.
Yeah, going back to Dune Part 2 though. Like, for example, when Paul rides the worms, this director said, I think he said that he started storyboarding that scene when he was in like high school.
Yeah.
Think about how old he is right now.
That's far.
He started storyboarding that in high school because like he had always wanted to do a Dune movie.
And he was trying to figure out how to like properly show him like getting onto the worm. And
yeah, because like it was never like it was never actually described on like how they.
In the book, it was never described how he gets onto the worm.
Exactly.
He just does it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of screwed up.
So then, like after the third, at the third movie, like I don't know what he's gonna end up adapting in the third movie, and then like, what is he gonna do? Is he gonna change the story, like what we were talking about? Is he gonna change the story to where it's like satisfying, but then like how much of Paul's character does he change, or does he leave it open ended for a new director to take over?
I think it's probably gonna be the whole Paul walking in the desert. As a third movie.
I can see like, so because he's been like he loves Dune and he's been. He talked to his friend about like wanting to do Dune movies for like so long, like since he was in high school, right? I can understand if he's had like the first 3 movies like mapped out like perfectly. So I can see like Paul like dying the way Jotic was saying it, but I can also see because he only planned it for the 3rd movie, they can have that open ending like twins were born and that they're his kids, but like and then he dies, right? And then director comes in like 10 years to like continue like the Dune. Like just you could be like a long time skip. Yeah. But because of the success of Dune 1 and Dune 2, considering he's on this roll with Dune 3, I can see him signing on to do more the rest Dune. Of it. We're being pushed too because of just money. Yeah. Because who else would you trust? That's true. For him to like adapt that one scene in particular with the worm so well when they don't even explain how he does it. But like think about how long it took him to like really, or like how long he's been building up to this. He like the storyboarding point. Overall was like for Dune in general, because he wanted to work on the film, right? It wasn't like just specific for that scene, right? It was literally like for Dune. No, that scene was. It was just that one scene that he like started in high school. Yeah, like or at least he started drafting in high school. Okay, because like he probably then like if he was only drafting like things that weren't like properly explained in the book, so that if he ever got a chance to do it in film, then I can still see him like continue and finish the rest of Dune, just because. If he's not like actually doing every single storyboarding every section of Dune, he's literally just doing like paragraph, like fucking like chapter 30, book 1. I need to adapt this, and then he like moves to the next storyboard. Like that's shit that he's already done. So now when he's moving forward to do the rest of the movies, he just needs to do the actual storyboards of what's happening in the books. Yeah, and then just add those in, because that's just So it's like it's kind of like the most streamlined process is to have him continue it. But yeah, of course. It's a matter of does he actually want to? And is the story relevant after Paul dies? Yeah. Because Paul doesn't actually die in that scene, by the way. He comes back and like gets killed by like his own priests at some point. It's very unsatisfying and anticlimactic. So, then I can see him retconning that shit, like just changing it so like he dies in the desert. Well, maybe Paul ends up being like proper and not just going ape shit. Well, no, like it makes sense. Like, bro, he gets consumed by the very thing that gave him his power. Yeah. Like the worms 100%. Or like spice. You know what I mean? So it's like.
I find that satisfying if like he couldn't bear what he did.
And just having that like be the ending.
Yeah.
But then like that doesn't like
You'd have irreparable damage to the universe.
Yeah,
It's like,
but like
do
no.
you even need him to show us like the?
But
universe
we're
healed?
following Paul's story. We don't
Yeah.
do you really care about everything else that's
Exactly.
going on.
Word.
Not that's what I mean. Not really.
Right.
So once the
No,
story's
but
done,
like
you're
the
like,
thing
okay,
is
GG's.
like like
true.
knowing that like it was kind of Paul's kid that was kind of trying to separate the people and like the everything from the Bene Gesserit and like
Yeah,
the
yeah.
controlling of the future and
Yeah, yeah.
et cetera, et cetera. Like knowing that though, it kind of makes what Paul does and like just him dying seem unsatisfying to me because he
Mhm.
kind of just leaves the place exactly how it was.
like how he started with it.
Yeah.
Like- I think I kind of understand what you're saying. Like, because where's the rest of the story for the Bene Gesserit?
Exactly.
Like, I feel like we're not if that's like the story you're telling us is the ending film or whatever. Where the fuck is like? How do you
Like,
get?
are we
rid of the
having
system?
voice? Like, are we
How do
having
you get rid
voice
of the
battles?
system?
Are we having voice battles? You know, between
But
like
also,
the
like,
Bene
this-
like
Gesserit
rap
But also the
battles.
system,
Yeah.
because they're so well established on so many different
Planets.
planets.
exactly.
How was he able to like actually like maybe that's why he's sterilizing everyone is to make sure nobody can continue the Bene Gesserit shit. But it's like
But then you
we
have
don't know
like
enough about the Bene Gesserit
Mm-hmm.
even in the first two films.
yeah, but then like with like Paul's kid, like he creates like a being that like has like a genetic mutation
Yeah.
to where like they're invisible to the Bene Gesserit.
I can see a post credit scene of his kids
Mm-hmm.
after he maybe doesn't walk in the desert, maybe he just dies. Because like maybe he knows like his visions he's seen, like he was meant to die to
Mhm.
have. So maybe so he doesn't have any influence on his kids. Then you have the post credit scene of like showing that like Jamis had kids, and then you just kind of leave it like that because it's like, you know, like they're gonna, you can assume what they're gonna grow up as, like I guess
Mhm.
like on like Freeman Planet or whatever at Arrakis, or you know somebody takes the story and continues it. Leave it kind of open ended for somebody to take it, but not in the way that like
So-
they have to take it to finish the story.
Like another detail is like Paul actually ruins Arrakis by trying to bring water and life there. So he tries to like almost terraform it, and like having Paul's kid turn into a worm, and when he dies, he resets Arrakis back to like the desert. Worms are back,
That's so
spices
weird to
back.
me.
So it's like
How the fuck is he turned into a worm?
That's like the weirdest thing to me. Like I feel like from like a consumer or audience standpoint, how are you gonna be like, yeah, he turned into a worm, makes sense, let's go, and like watch this worm with like I don't know, like maybe he has like curly hair and shit, like
Yeah.
like a worm with like a wig on or something. Like, you see this
No,
fucking worm
no,
like on his
it's like-
missions and he's communicating with people. Like it's just
it's like
so
it's like
weird.
a worm body with a human head. Like I think that's the description
That's
of
so
it.
That's so
weird.
fucking weird, bro.
That like fucking just reminded me of some random shit. Like,
What?
like fucking like some Bollywood movie where all the snakes had human heads.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
No, but-
That guy who does the Kalima thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, just that,
You know what I'm talking about?
just
I'll
that,
show you,
I
bro.
can
I'll show
imagine
you.
it though.
just
I'll
that
show
worm
you.
thing alone. Like, I can understand why the director only wanted to do 3 movies.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because like, how are you actually gonna have people interested in this kid and continue it in a way that makes sense?
Yeah.
Except for like,
Plus, he
oh,
rules for thousands of years.
except
Yeah.
and just to be like, oh yeah, now the universe is stable again. Because
Yeah.
the message that the Messiah message that they're already sending in the first 3
Mhm.
movies,
Yeah.
finish with that, end it with that, and it's a great message to send.
Yeah.
Right.
So, is there anything else to say?
I mean, there was a discussion where people were comparing Star Wars
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
heavily,
yeah, yeah.
and especially like Anakin to like Paul Atreides. And I was
Isn't Anakin more his son?
whose son?
Whose son?
What do
Oh,
you mean?
is it? Never mind.
wait.
I was saying, isn't Anakin more Paul's son? More like Paul's son than Paul?
Like actually being a chosen one,
Yeah.
I guess.
Like you could say that because he restores balance.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In the end. So
Yeah.
you could say that, but like
Yeah.
I feel like the parallels and shit or whatever that people are making with Paul and Anakin, like it's besides them being like a prophesized person,
Mm-hmm.
that's as far as it goes.
Yeah,
Because
it
Anakin's
is.
a
Desert
like,
planet.
Well, yeah, but like we know that like
No, I know,
George
I know.
Lucas based a lot of like his fantasy sci-fi land
Yeah,
off
yeah.
of like Frank Hubert's Dune.
the land shit's whatever. Like that,
Mhm.
but that's not Anakin as a character.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's like sure that's where he started from, but like like Paul didn't start from there. Paul went there afterwards.
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So it's still not the same in that sense. But
Mhm.
Anakin's character, like, he's tragic. He can't like see the future. Yeah, he had visions or
He
like dreams
could.
of like
If he was to like actually stay as Anakin Skywalker, not turn into Darth Vader and lose his like limbs and whatnot, he would have been able to see the future.
like Mace Windu, right?
Yeah.
Like the cracks in the Force.
Yeah.
But like even then, that's like how far in the future is he really seeing?
Yeah, that I can't say.
Because whereas like Paul was actually seeing like fucking
Everybody's
timeline,
yeah.
it's not the same. Like seeing like the cracks in the future, like the way Mace Windu was, it seemed like it was more like momentary, like the kind of like observational hockey.
But Anakin's like he would have been able to see like further, way
100%.
further, because he was seeing Padme's death at like the start of like
Yeah.
the third movie.
So like those visions, like that's as far as he had, and then like, but like his character choices were like, it was still very much like Anakin's choices to make, and the circumstances created it.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like, with Paul, because he can see every future, you kind of like, you almost like take that away from his character.
Mhm.
Not only
You know
that,
what I mean? Like he's still like, you don't really know if he's making if he's still making his choices on like his emotional feelings or anything like that anymore. Now it's like all logical,
well,
right? Now he's thinking
Yeah.
like,
but
you
like you
know.
also like the
Mhm.
whole setup of like Anakin being like a chosen one. It's kind of written like actual like Anakin is a chosen one versus like with the Fremen saying that like he is the Messiah. It's
Yeah.
like you're not actually sure if like this whole Messiah idea is
even
actually
real.
true. Like
Mhm.
was
Mhm.
like, but the Bene Gesserit could have planted this idea of a Messiah coming years
Yeah.
ago.
Like using the voice too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
it's like
like Anakin's arc, like from beginning to end,
yeah,
is so well done. Whereas like from what you've told with Paul's arc, it's like he's resisting being a Messiah, becomes a Messiah, and then falls to like his own.
I think you're just biased.
I don't.
but,
I like the thing is like Paul's story. Like this is like where it's quite different. Anakin was always a chosen one, even
Yeah.
when he becomes Darth Vader and falls. He was always a chosen one. He was always supposed to be the one to bring balance back to like the universe or whatever. Versus like Paul being like a Messiah or a chosen one. He never actually follows suit of being a Messiah or a chosen one. Like he doesn't follow. Like he becomes anti that.
Okay.
Like that's kind of like the differential as well.
But Anakin didn't know he was the prophesized one, right?
They always said, "Yo,
Did they
you were
tell
the
him that?
chosen one." Yeah,
Did
yeah.
Okay.
You were the chosen one. You were meant to.
Kenobi says
the-
that.
the
like,
line,
Kenobi
bro,
says
come
that.
on.
But like,
That's crazy.
I mean, like he like, it's like, you know, like you're gassing, like you're like saying like, oh, like you got this, like you fucking like, just to like, because like the things that you're telling
Damn. Do you
him.
really know Obi-Wan's character? He doesn't just gas people like that.
No, but, like, you're telling some
Crazy.
like
Not even a
you
true
telling
Star Wars
somebody can like change their actions, right?
Yeah.
Which is like with Anakin like doing Order 66, like with
Mhm.
like becoming so close to Palpatine,
Yeah.
was like a circumstantial thing that happened, right? Like had Obi-Wan actually like taken care of him properly,
Mhm.
Yeah.
maybe he never would have.
He would have
succumbed to the
never.
dark side,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Mhm.
But like he was like neglecting him,
Mhm.
right? But like,
Because they feared him, right? Like they feared what
saying-
Anakin could have become.
yeah,
That's why they never let him become a Jedi Master and like look into the
Yeah, but
libraries and
that's the
learn
thing, like,
more
with the-
past what they were
Yeah.
The
teaching
Bene
him.
Gesserit fear what Paul can become too.
kind like a little bit, but
But
they
he's-
wanted that though. That's the thing. Like, why were they setting this up to have it created if now they fear it?
No, they try to kill him in the first movie.
No, but like their whole plot was to make
A
people
Messiah.
like Paul on different planets, which is like, why are they trying to do that if they
Mhm.
don't actually want it?
Because they were trying to make the true Messiah
Yeah,
and like somebody that they could control versus Paul. Paul became somebody that like went outside of their control.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
And I
And,
think
like,
Paul
that's-
was gifted too, right? The fact that he can see the future. Like that's
Yeah.
only specific to him.
I think it's because he's a guy.
No.
It was
I think it's
something
only-
to do
I
because he
think
was a
it's
guy.
No, but I don't think
It made
but I
him
think
a
But I
monster.
think Paul.
Yeah.
But I think Paul is special. Like
Mm.
I think they meant monster in the sense of how strong his voice was. I don't think that the
Yeah, but
future
it-
sight that he has
His
is
voice
based off
hasn't
of
been
that.
displayed as strong though.
He,
At least, yeah.
bro, he says shut up, and she's like
To the
"Monster."
Reverend Mother.
At that
And then
point-
she
at
says
that point,
monster.
yeah. But I'm
So
saying-
like that's what I
But
think.
before that, yeah,
I meant
yeah,
in like
before that.
the first movie and stuff.
It definitely wasn't there. He was
Yeah.
barely moving water or,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
telling his mom to move water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think it was like they were saying based off the potential of his voice. I don't think they know about his future sight.
Well, I mean,
Well-
I feel like that's because he's a guy. They always usually breed women.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's the like voice related, not future
Mm.
sight related.
Oh yeah.
Like the future sight thing is
They
something.
didn't think of. They
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know.
no, it's only
Maybe.
Paul's. Like I think
Okay,
it's just
okay.
something he has.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like not
Like,
every
It's
single.
kind of hard.
Yeah.
That's
No,
fair.
but like, cause like we know that like Paul's mom only got it after drinking the water of life. So like
future sight.
the future sight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, she got like past history and everything.
Well, I don't know. I think
Everything,
she just
yeah.
turned insane.
No, she did-
No.
she-
She had access to, like, because she realized that she was a Harkonnen.
Oh, she. Well, no, she. Well, her
After.
past. That's her past. But she can't see the future.
No, she can't see the future.
Okay, yeah. So she
But
just
she got
unlocked
all the past and history.
Yeah.
her own, not everything. Her own.
I thought she got like
No,
the
she
worm.
got
You would technically get the worms
everything.
too.
Yeah.
No.
'Cause she's getting the water life from a worm. I
Yeah,
think
no,
she
no,
also
but it
got-
only showed her getting her own memories. Like that was her remembering
Yeah.
her as a baby,
Yeah.
seeing her dad. That was it. Like it wasn't like it was like
That's
you know, yeah.
But that's all she like explained to Paul, because Paul was like,
But that's all we saw as a viewer. So you
yeah,
can't even
that's
assume
true,
beyond
that's
that.
True, that's true. Yeah, if that like Messiah, like the future sight thing is like specific to Paul,
Yeah.
that makes that kind of makes sense to me. Like
Mhm.
that, like, but I still need like more like Bene Gesserit shit happening.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Right. That's why I say 8.5.
no man, but like, but with the Star Wars thing, I will say like, the Dune movies like blow out all the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, they're
Fucking
new.
way
They're
better done.
they're shot better. They're
They're
acted better. They're newer.
Yeah.
The VFX is better.
Of
Like,
course,
Soundtrack.
like,
soundtrack's
yeah.
better. Like there's no comparison.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like overall story, I would say Star Wars
Yeah.
is technically done better.
So
Not including the sequel trilogy, bro.
so
like as far as Anakin and Paul's character go,
Yeah.
I think like Anakin's character is better in my opinion.
What about Luke versus Worm God?
I hate Luke, bro. I don't give a fuck about Luke. Worm God's probably better in my opinion, because at least Worm God like went and corrected everything and like restored balance.
That we think.
Until sex beings came.
Yeah.
So is that you guys have anything else you guys want to say?
No. I mean,
Great
it's a
movie. Go
solid
watch it if you
movie.
ain't seen it.
Yeah. So I think we're done with this discussion.
He's been waiting all podcasts for that. Go in our comments. Let us know what you guys thought about the movie. If you guys have read the books, let us know if you guys have like any ideas on how they would interpret the what kind of goes on in the books, or if you guys see them going past the third movie. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications. Go in our description where we have our TikTok and our Twitter, Instagram coming never. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Peace.